Hello. What's up, everybody, and welcome to my Impact Wrestling review. You know what? We're gonna actually try the audio thing again and see if we can get this going. I haven't really done any of this because, after I did that whole Rumble review, and I know it was almost 2 hours, the problem was getting it uploaded to YouTube, and it just took a very, very hard time to do that. But, I'm gonna try to use a different approach. Maybe I'm gonna try to use Buzzsprout or something to get it uploaded, and we'll see what goes on from that point of view. If not, I'll just try to make a video of this review anyways. But like I said, it's been a lot going on, and getting into this Impact Wrestling review here, I will say a very enjoyable show. I will say that there was a lot of things going on from here as we kicked off the show with Moose versus Trey Miguel, which I actually thought this was a very enjoyable match between both, kind of like a mini feud, because the Rascals were making fun of Moose for trying to hit on Melissa Santos and failing, and he kind of came into their smoke circle last week and started punching one of them, which I guess was Miguel. And this was not a bad match, I will say that. Pretty some good spots out here too. I did like when Miguel went for a top count helo, but Moose caught him and pretty much caught him in midair and everything, and hit him like one of those power bomb, like an apron bomb, like you power bomb somebody into the hard part of the apron, which looked pretty brutal. So I will say that was really enjoyable. Also, pretty much coming into the match, also, this was really good spots, and this is like a really good match, which even the crowd kind of chanted one more time at one point when he caught Miguel's legs after trying to do that 619, and I guess Moose grabbed him and kind of threw him into the steel steps right there, like banging his head into it, which the fans kind of tried chanting one more time. Then like I said, very crazy spot. He even tried to go for almost like a code breaker running into him, but Moose pretty much blocked it. I think he did with the go to hell thing, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I believe he did do that. Pretty much slam to the ground, blocking the code breaker, knocking him back. Miguel kept coming in, hitting him with multiple super kicks. Even tried to take him down with a dive at one point on the outside of the ring, but like I said, Moose had caught him. He even got a pop-up power bomb on him, but still he kicked out from there. This, like I said, was a really good match. I'm just trying to name some spots in there, but pretty much after he he did dodge that code breaker thing, and he threw him into the turnbuckle several times, like the corner part of it, just knocking Miguel in there, and Moose pretty much won with the spear for the victory. So it was a really good match, a good show opener. It was enjoyable. Crowd was really with it, so I thought it was good, and a good finish. I will say that too. So that was a really good match. They then went to OVE as they had their camcorder promo as Sami Callihan there was talking about Rich Swann, talking about he turned his back on his family, and now he's going to take his X Division title from him tonight. As OVE stood by. OVE said they're going to take everything, just everything in general. Melissa Santos. Why did I say that? Melissa Santos was talking to Tessa Blanchard in the back, talking about the Gail Kim attack from last week, and now that Gail Kim has been suspended by Scott D'Amore of Impact Management, does Tessa feel vindicated for, Impact Management taking her side? But Tessa said this is not the first thing. It's not over, okay? Because her lawyers are pretty much in control now, and that Impact Management is responsible for Gail Kim's action. And if they do not listen to her demands, they will be in a lawsuit. And if they want to avoid this lawsuit, Gail Kim must issue a public apology to Tessa Blanchard, and they must fire her from Impact Management, and that she is no longer welcome in Impact. So just a follow-up from last week. Want to make Gail Kim apologize. Like I said before in the many reviews I've done for Impact recently, that they are building this match more and more. I don't know if it's going to be at that Rebellion pay-per-view, or it could, if you want to go further, we can go all the way into Slammiversary when June, July hits around. Then I would go with that. Sorry, I saw something, but just going into whatever pay-per-view they do this from. Excuse me. But yes, as I was saying, yeah, pretty much this could go into Slammiversary. This could go into Rebellion, for all I know. But like I said, the story is going along still well with both of those two. And, it's really going to be a great match when that happens, though. I am looking forward to seeing Gail Kim versus Tessa Blanchard. So, you're just going to have to wait on that. Next, followed by NKM versus Eddie Edwards and Eli Drake. What to say from here, huh? Well, we all know that Drake and Eddie Edwards are a team now. Could this really come back to Eddie Edwards being the old Eddie Edwards and not this hardcore, loony, crazy Eddie Edwards? Which this was not a bad match, I will say that. And in the end, Eddie wanted to use his kendo stick, Kenny there, the new plank from Ed and Eddie. Yeah, I like that. Don Callis said, this is the most over Kenny in the wrestling business right now. Which he was going to use, but he threw it to Eli Drake to hit KM with it. And Eddie hit the Boston Knee Party for the win then after that. So, pretty much a win for Eddie Edwards and Eli Drake, which at least I said maybe they are making this into a team now, and how they can make these guys work together, since I don't know, maybe Edwards is now listening to Drake, so maybe they're going to be a heel team, which they pretty much are a heel team now, since he did cheat, and it could be a rematch with KM and followed by, just because they used the kendo stick to cheat when the referee was not using the referee was not paying attention. Excuse me, and we could see another match happen with both these teams here, but I guess they really are trying to make these two work together, and we will see what happens from that. Johnny Impact and Taya were arriving to the Sam's Town Casino until Rolando Menendez, they keep changing his name every weekend throughout this show, asked about what happened with Moose last week, and as they laughed, they said, "You really want to know the question, huh?" Pretty much just asking what's your problem, and then Johnny pretty much told Ronaldo there that you gotta buy a ticket and find out what the rest of the marks. Okay, they also pretty much talked about the United We Stand, show that's coming up soon during Mania Week. So, a lot of shows during that weekend, but we're gonna get into that another time. Though I may do a review for that just because there's a lot of hype to it, but. Menendez there. Once again, they keep asking Taya and Johnny questions, which they put him into a trash can then after that, so they left him there. Rich Swann was talking to the Mac in the back, as what was going to happen with this whole Sami Callihan thing. And as Mac said, he did have his back. He said, he'll be around to take care of the Chris brothers until All Ego Ethan Page showed up. And pretty much was talking to the Mac then. So, we got a match tonight, so you need to be worried about me, okay? And, he says he's been thinking about Swann's belt since that Ultimate X match. Pretty much left then. After that, pretty much, you guys have a fun night. But as Max said, we just got to worry about this whole, he's going to get the Chris brothers later, but he's going to take care of Paige tonight also, since, want to add him to the list next. Next thing after that, Gambit, Ace Austin, or whatever X-Men character we're going around next in this company. Pretty much not a match for him going against Damian Hyde. I do like his finisher. It's called the Fold. It's the blockbuster move, but they call it the Fold though. Which he actually had a good match out there. I will say the guy can go. This guy would be really good for the X division. So I will say that guy gets some crazy kicks out there. I will say that too. Even a twisting swanton that looked pretty good out there too. So they are building up Ace Austin pretty good. It's just throwing against some jobbers right now, and we'll see where we go on from this. But time by time, we'll see where this keeps going with him, and I think they got something good on their hands with this guy. So I'm beginning to like him. Next after that, they showed a vignette for somebody that was sitting on a couch, or a bench somewhere, jogging with with a hoodie on, which I didn't know who it was. It was some woman, and it said 2 weeks, and it had all like these bees saying in 2 weeks. Some people believe this will be Madison Rayne coming back. If you all know, she had just left Ring of Honor, and I believe about a week or two ago, Impact said she was coming back. So if you know her gimmick with the bees, the queen bee type of thing. So I don't know what she's gonna do when she comes back. But it was why she left to begin with and went to Ring of Honor, which she's supposed to be there for a year if I remember. But I don't know, was she there for a year? Like I did see Madison Rayne in some matches down there, which were pretty good. I will say that. And I've said before, I've seen her at All In anyways, and we had that very great Fatal 4-Way match that happened also. But excuse me, but her being back in Impact again, I'm not surprised she came back, but because she was showing up on several things. If I remember, she was on that Mae Young Classic, and then she signed Ring of Honor. But I guess she wanted to come back to Impact again. Some people believe she be part of that Undead Realm thing, just because Su Yung technically killed her and sent her there before she left the company. So I don't know where that goes on for. Josh Matthews was in the ring to do an interview with Johnny Impact and Taya, as they came out talking about the whole thing about last week with Moose. As they said, why Johnny, why? And I said, why is the question? Johnny said that the news and TMZ were all asking the same thing. Why'd you do it, huh? Why did you turn on the people and do what you did to Cage? And he called them internet smart marks then. He was going to be a fighting champion, the most fighting champion in this company's history. But the fans here, the same reason they watch NASCAR, to see car crashes. And they want to see carnage, okay? That's all they want to see. And that the fans turned on him when they started cheering for the jacked up meathead known as Brian Cage at Homecoming. And that, he was made to be a victim all over, social media. And they talked about Cage, his eating and him retweeting all the time on Twitter. And he's too dumb to understand that, the fans, they don't really care about Cage, okay? And as he talked about, Johnny pretty much said that, he said, that the fans shouldn't expect Johnny to be loyal to him when the fans weren't loyal to me, as he said. And that, he cheated on the fans with himself, and he loved it. And then they went to Taya asking about her title match against Jordan Grace, as Taya pretty much called her short, making short jokes and calling the fans marquee, and just trying to dictate anything they wanted to do around here. But that's not going to be the thing. They left Johnny hanging dry, so why should he be on their side still? And, she's going to decide later on how many title defenses if, she's going to have in that. Because right now, we make the rules to the show. We run this thing. And pretty much Cage will get his next title shot at Rebellion. I believe it's going to be at, the Rebel Complex Center. I think they had a Slammiversary last year for Impact. So that's going to happen in April when that match happens. And then Johnny said, he's going to give Cage his title shot on the grandest stage of them all. That was bound for glory for this company. But, he said he's going to shut Cage's meathead mouth, and, he's going to be ready for war. And, he's got that scary offense and everything, but he just hopes he's healthy coming into this match. If he'll probably injure himself in that or take him out. But Johnny pretty much, he said he doesn't care about what the fans think or anything, because the only thing that matters is the belt and Taya, which they pretty much started making out in the ring, and Don Callis was disgusted talking about both of them, and just for how they betrayed Brian Cage and everything. So a good promo between both Taya and Johnny, pretty much now arrogant pricks there. Now I believe they run the show, they got the gold, and they can pretty much do what they want to do, almost like what they did in Lucha Underground. Surprised he didn't talk about Slamtown more and more often, but this is almost like the same behavior both of them did in Impact, if you want to go look at, not Impact, but in Lucha Underground, if you want to go look up what happened over there. The Undead Realm was back again. James Mitchell was looking in the mirror to Rosemary, pretty much wanted to talk to Mitchell, as you didn't hold your end of the bargain. You gave me a soulless meat suit. You did not give the bunny Allie back, which I should say also newest AEW signing Allie, and that Rosemary wanted her soul back, and we know you have it, okay? And Mitchell pretty much went on to say, you got what you promised. You got her back, and you want to file your grievances, go to him. And Rosemary said that we will go back to the Undead Realm if we have to get the bunny's soul back, okay? We don't care what James Mitchell has to say, as you know, she put on there. But next week she will go and get Allie's soul back and bring it back to her. The Mac went against Ethan Page. Pretty good match. We'll say that to pass the time. Mac winning with the Stone Cold Stunner, of course, picking up the win. I swear Page loses every match. I don't really know what's going on with him. What happened to Matt Sydal? Did he really leave a company? Like, I'm assuming he did now at this point, because I've not seen this guy for a very long time. I don't even think was he there in the Mexico tapings? I don't think he was. Yeah, I think he's gone from the company if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know what happened to Matt Sydal there, but Page is pretty much taking a lot of L's right now as it is. Ronaldo, which we see this guy almost throughout the entire night, once again trying to talk to Johnny and Taya again, as they say he smelled like hot garbage. Killer Cross was sitting there, standing, laughing with his arms crossed, and pretty much says bravo. Just joined the dark side, and he whispered something into Johnny's ear, as Johnny pretty much said that this night just keeps getting better and better, as he pretty much looked at them as they walked away. Then could this be a thing going on, a team maybe? Yes, as I said, could this lead into an alliance, which is most likely an alliance as it is already? Could this be a team now? Because with Johnny and Killer Cross, and Taya also, and I'm assuming Moose is still part of this whole tag thing also. Could this be a stable now if, this wherever this is going to go? Because, Cross is like a devil's advocate as it is, and he against all odds, TV show theme pay-per-view, and it's going to be Killer Cross versus Brian Cage next week. So we will see where that goes into. Once again, for the 8th time tonight, Rolando Melendez was talking to Disco Inferno, pretty much at a bar, drinking, as he was wondering if he was going to take this match seriously against Scarlett Bordeaux. He pretty much says he had nothing to worry about, and he said that Scarlett better take it seriously. And then he kind of talked about, I don't care about this rating system, 6 star, 7 stars, -5 stars. I'm sure it was a shot at Meltzer, or whatever it is. It could be a 1-star max. Just, put it all together. I'm just going to win, okay? And Disco pretty much said, 1 star would work, make the biggest, highest rated women's match in the history of wrestling. And he said that the whole women's revolution is a hoax. It's illogical. It's nonsensical. And, it's ridiculous. He does not really care. And why should they compete with men? And he's going to teach Scarlett an important lesson, that a woman cannot be the man. I don't know if that was a shot at Becky Lynch or not, but I'm like, okay, we see where this is going. But I see they've actually took time to actually build this feud between Scarlett Bordeaux and Disco Inferno for next week, since the guy literally does not care. And it's like, listen, I've been doing this for a long time, okay? So me wrestling a girl is not really gonna matter, as he kind of looks at it, and pretty much burying this whole women's evolution. I think it could be a shot at WWE for all I know, because we know they're late in the game on everything, especially when it comes to this. And even, I don't know if that was taking a shot at the man Becky Lynch type of thing. So I'm not really sure, but it could be, could not be. I don't know, but I will say it was a pretty good promo, and they did, like I said, they've took some time into building this. I will say Disco Inferno has been funny on here ever since they brought him in to be, having this new job and everything here. So we will see what goes on from that. Melissa Santos was talking to Gail Kim outside of Impact Management as she came out, and that the lawyers are pretty much, Tessa's lawyers are pretty much got Impact Management on their necks right now. So Gail was going to have to, and then we have to give into demands, if I'm not yes, like I said though, giving into demands. And it's a weird thing going on with this. Sorry, I was kind of looking at the bandwidth, but like I said before, I was lost my train of thought there. But yeah, she was gonna have to do what she had to do since it looks like they were going to have to give in to Tessa, and the Lucha Brothers were pretty much brawling and beating the crap out of each other. One of these security guys that tried to jump into it, but he got beat up then, and as they pretty much kept kicking the crap out of each other from there, all the security guards, or most likely indie wrestlers, showed up to break it up. Conan pretty much said, "You asked for this beatdown, you asked for it, and we want our rematch. Okay, we want our rematch." Which good brawl, and then went to commercial, which they were back in the same hallway again, as the Mac was pretty much walking into a room, and this is something that pretty much happened not that long ago, if I remember. The Chris brothers pretty much entered right after, except going to commercial again. Pretty much there was like a whole bunch of noise, like it was like a fight going on in there. Next thing you know, the Mac pretty much walks out with a steel chair in his hand, pretty much puts the code on the door, locking the Chris brothers in there, and pretty much said, "This place needs better security." So pretty much after that, then they went back to Josh Matthews and Don Callis, who talk about Against All Odds next week, with Gail Kim having to apologize to Tessa, and Cross versus Brian Cage, Taya going against Jordan Grace for the Knockouts Championship, and Rosemary going back to the Undead Realm to claim Allie's soul back. But as we got into the main event for the X Division Championship on the line, Rich Swann versus Sami Callihan, which was a pretty good match right off the gates right there. Swann came in pretty much brawling with Callihan out there, pretty much hitting a I thought it was kind of cool, like a neck breaker, kind of rolling back, even hitting with a corkscrew on the outside of the ring, which was pretty cool. Callihan able at the 450 and pretty much put Swann to the hit Swann with a suplex stand right after that. One thing I kind of thought was kind of nasty about the match was, it's like when Callihan like spits in his hand and just hits you with it, just something about the giant loogie looks kind of disgusting. And he spit at Swann at one point, which I thought was disgusting, and Swann pretty much kept going at him then after that, pretty much knocking the crap out of Callihan then, because even the announcers pretty much were wondering where Chris brothers were. They were kind of funny, trapped in the closet. So I pull up my Beretta, which I don't care. It's still a great song, and it's to me. So I don't really care what's going on right now, but still a great song. But I get the reference. But pretty much this was a good match. For a minute there, I actually thought. Excuse me. For a minute there, I actually thought Callihan was actually going to win the X Division title, because he dodged the what's his Swann's finisher, like that 450 he does, if I'm not mistaken. Because excuse me. Sorry, I keep looking at this machine starting to mess up right now during this recording. So okay, there we go. Now it's going out well. But like I said, he's out to hit the 450. Yeah, my mistake. I said 450 though. Yeah, he tried to go for that 450 splash, but pretty much missed it. Or sorry, the Phoenix splash. Why do I keep saying 450 splash? But after Rich missed that Phoenix splash, Sami did his whole thumbs up, thumbs down thing. Most likely going for the power driver, but Swann rolled him up after that. But I think it was more after the match, really. After Swann still defended the title, Callihan attacked him right after, and when he was attacking Rich Swann, then Swann had pretty much got him with a kick, and then he was going to hit him with a chair then after that. But as you know, Callihan kept saying no. This giant guy came into the ring, and I didn't know who this was at first, because next thing you know, Swann just hits him with a chair, and the guy just no souls it to the chest then, okay? Because I'm like, who is this guy? But then I figured out when somebody told me he is former NXT Sanity member Sawyer Fulton. I believe he's part of the Death Machine something in ML. Was he in MLW? I think he was, because Callihan had a group down there called the Death Machine Squad or Crew or something. I'm not sure. I didn't know at the time whatever was going on in MLW right now. But I knew who Sawyer Fulton was. I don't remember why he left WWE though, to be honest, or why they released him, because Sanity was working well at the time. I can't say that much for Sanity right now, but it was working out well for them at the time. And I kind of forgot why he left. I think he wanted to improve as a wrestler, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, that was Sawyer Fulton, or what they called him, Madman Fulton, because he pretty much picked up Swan, one-handed choke slam, and he had an OVE shirt on in because he picked up Callahan and put him on the top rope, pretty much patted him on the head. Mac tried to come out for the save, but it did not work. Fulton almost hit him like a black hole slam slash end of days like Baron Corbin does, pretty much leaving both Swan and the Mac on the ground. He picked up Swan, and Callahan pretty much said to him, "I love you," and hit him with the title to the head. Well, I'm sorry, the title, but a baseball bat almost like to the head pretty much, and left him down as Fulton and Callahan stood tall in the end after that. So a new member to OVE. I did not expect that to happen because I'm like, who is this giant guy? So maybe they are going to make more members to OVE now, including the Chris brothers. I'm not sure I feel about this. This was not a bad match, don't get me wrong. I was surprised to see him show up because I actually did not know what this guy was doing nowadays until recently, and seeing him on here on Impact now. I am interested to see where he goes from this. I like the guy Insanity. I thought he was pretty good. I don't know what's gonna happen here, part of this whole OVE thing and being like the muscle of this now, since the guy is a big dude. So we'll go on and we'll see what happens from this. But overall, I did like the show though. I did like the Miguel versus Moose thing. I thought the main event was pretty good. Like I said, the debut of Madman Fulton. The Gail Kim Tessa Blanchard story that's going on, the Impact and Taya promo, pretty much being heels now, talking about both Cage and Jordan Grace. So wasn't that a bad episode of Impact. I did enjoy it. We'll see what happens next week. I don't know how long they're in Vegas for. I believe they started the new tapings, I believe today or yesterday, for I think it's in you think back at the Rebel Complex, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know if this is the last Vegas show, or it could be next week. I'm not honestly sure which one it is. But I did enjoy the show, enjoy this episode of Impact in general. Like I said, comment, subscribe, tell me what you thought about this show. Follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. I don't know if it's gonna be on Buzzsprout or YouTube, or if I get it transferred. But if not, we're gonna see how this goes, and we'll see what happens next from this. Like I said, it's been a very eventful weekend. I got a chance to check out the I will say one thing, and maybe I'll speak on this later, but I got a chance to go to that C2E2 thing in Chicago. I was going for mostly the Wrestling Soup, like a press conference, kind of like Mania prediction. It was pretty fun. Saw a lot of cool cosplay. I know it was probably for one day and a few hours, but I did enjoy what was going on. Yeah, but I'll probably speak on that another time, though. Kind of my experience there for what it was the time being, but really cool stuff there. And I'll talk about my story later about that, but I really didn't want to go to that press conference, though. But like I said, this is my Impact Wrestling review. We'll see how we get this uploaded or not, but we'll just kind of come back with the audio thing just because we wanted to try it out again, see if it sounded better, and hopefully we get this thing to YouTube or whatever, or how we get it, I don't know. But we'll see where this go. If not, we're going to start using this Buzzsprout shit a lot then. But I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.